Hey, what's up, guys? Last time you saw me, I had a little epic rant, and the things that I was talking about in that video, it's crazy because I ran across our Valuetainment's video. It's like 26 minutes. I'm gonna get right into it, but it basically covers some of the things that I talked about. This country is upside down, man. This world is upside down. But it was an excellent video. I love Patrick Bet David. Absolutely love this guy and his crew. The one particular guy I don't like as much, but I'll get into that in a minute. But we're gonna react to an absolutely outstanding video. So let's get on into it.
Okay, first things first, the indictment. All right, so here we go. Here are the charges and how many years Trump faces in federal Mar-a-Lago indictment, New York Post story. Number one, retaining classified document. Trump is charged with hoarding classified material on Mar-a-Lago with a maximum sentence of 10 years or a fine. Number two, conspiring to obstruct justice. Trump is accused of instructing others to mislead government officials during the retrieval of the classified documents, constituting an obstruction of justice charge. This carries a maximum sentence of 10 years or a fine. Number three, withholding a document. Investigators allege that Trump purposefully retained some of the top secret government documents, which is authorized, and it carries a maximum, which unauthorized, and carries a maximum sentence of 5 years. Number four, corruptly concealing a document or record. Trump is charged with both threatening others to mislead a federal investigation and illegally retaining classified documents, which carries a punishment up to 20 years. Concealing a document in a federal investigation, Trump faces an additional 20-year sentence if convicted. Number six, scheme to conceal. Trump is accused to knowingly hiding the classified documents while serving in a government branch, carrying a maximum of 5 years. If deemed domestic terrorism, the charge could be as high as 8 years. And last but not least, seven, false statements and representation. Trump could face charges for lying about keeping top secret document papers in his private home with a maximum sentence of 5 years. Quite frankly, all these numbers are high. All they care about is to be able to put this guy in prison for about 17 months, 19 months. That's all they care about. If they can put him in prison until December of 2024, they're happy. That's what they care about.
Ding, 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 ladies and gentlemen. You are the winner, Patrick Bet David. Absolutely. That's all they want. And I said that in my last video. They just want this guy out of the race. They don't give. Trust me, if he wasn't running for president, they wouldn't be saying nothing about this. And you guys know it. But you'll never hear this on the mainstream media. This is what I love about independent journalists. This guy's got over 4 million subscribers. That's great. And by the way, he has a video coming out with Andrew Tate. He did a interview. I can't wait to watch that. But anyways, yeah, he hit the nail right in the head, man. Love it.
Tom, when you hear these stories, what do you think about?
Well, I think about Eric Adams. Remember Eric Adams, the indictment that came in New York, and it was like he listed like 14 things. Was it 14 counts or something crazy in New York? And it really boiled down to one thing. This is one thing. Let's take a look at this. And this is what the government does, ladies and gentlemen. This is what they do. They cut the onion into thin slices, and they keep making you cry over it. Think of this. What if a teacher said to you, because you yell at the teacher, that says, you're staying after school for charge one, interrupting the teacher. Charge two, raising your voice. Charge three, yelling at a teacher. Your parents would say, what the hell are you doing? You're just keeping him after school for one thing. You yelled in class and you got upset with you. How are you keeping him 3 days after school and you're making up these charges? That's what they're doing here. Watch this. Retaining classified documents, withholding a document, corrupt concealing a document, concealing a document, a federal investigation, scheme to conceal. That's all the same thing, hiding a document. And then the other one is he lied and obstructed justice. They say conspiring to obstruct justice, false statements, representations to obstruct. They're really saying two things. You had documents and you were not honest with us about it. And they're trying to cut this thing, PBD, into multiple charges. That way they can keep putting the years on it and it gives them something to settle on. The federal prosecutor, here's what they really want. They want a settlement in which he agrees not to be running and he agrees to go away. That's what the design is here. They're trying to wound his image in public. I'm not sure they really want the DeSantis to come out better on this. Very politically charged, but this is how the government does it. They cut things into little slices to make it seem bigger.
Oh my God. Preach, Tom. I could not have said that better. Let me tell you something, man. I love that guy. If I had a podcast, I'd have a guy like that, a guy that's older than me, wiser than me. He can break everything down. If I had a podcast like this, I would reach out to Jimmy Licari. I just would, man. I love you, Jimmy. I know you don't like Bitcoin, but I would I would have a Jimmy on my show just like Tom, man. Because this guy broke it down. It's the same charge. And he just sliced it up and broke it down, man. It's so stupid. And people, I have a friend of mine that believes this stuff, man. It's insane.
I think, Pat, because we were getting on the flight, right? I think it's the timing of this, right? Because Biden unleashed this indictment on the same day that the House Republicans were finally able to publicize the evidence that 5 million from Ukraine, the Burisma story, went to so when I tell people to wake up, there is no coincidence. It happens on purpose. They've weaponized the Department of Justice. And it's like, think about it. We get on the plane, one story comes out. We land, that one hits. Because now, what's the main story, Pat? It's Trump. It has nothing. Nobody cares about the Biden situation, and Biden is on camera. Do you remember that, Rob? When he was like, "I'm not." They wanted $1 billion, and he goes, "I told them, guess what? You ain't getting it."
This right here.
Unless, and you know why, Pat? Unless they fire the guy that was going after Hunter. This is the video right here.
Can you press
this? Is evidence.
We've all seen this.
I remember going over convincing our team, or others, to convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over, for, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't.
Wow.
So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, "No," I said, "I'm not going to. We're not going to give you the $1 billion." They said, "You have no authority. You're not the president." The president said. I said, "Call him." I said, "I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion." I said, "You're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here." And I think it was 6 hours. I looked. I said, "I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money." Well, son of a bitch.
But they're laughing.
Got fired.
They're laughing.
And they put in place someone who was solid at the time.
You know, the prosecutor was, Pat, the guy that was investigating Hunter and Burisma. Like, when are people going to wake up and be like, bro, that the proof is right in front of your face and nothing happened?
Nothing happens because we live in a two-tier justice system. We know that. First of all, I love that guy. He reminds me of myself when I get angry. He goes off. I'm a little bit of Patrick Bet David. Calm, cool, collected, maybe 75% of the time. And then when I get pissed off, like I did with the rant video, I'm that guy right there. But yeah, he said it perfectly. Now, that video was from 2018, and he's just sitting there. I mean, he just basically told on himself, man. You know what I mean? Can you imagine? Again, I'm not, pro this or pro that or whatever. I'm pro fairness in America, right? If Donald Trump made a video like that, I mean, come on, guys. You know we live in a two-tier system. This is insane.
Do you have that article that just came out, by the way? This is the one from Joe Biden allegedly paid $5 million by Burisma executive as part of a bribery scheme, according to FBI document. This is not like, keep going, Lord. Let me just look at President Joe Biden, $5 million. Let me read that whole thing by executive. Go a little high. Yeah, but executive of the Ukraine natural gas firm Burisma, where his son Biden, Hunter, sat on the board. A confidential human source told FBI during a June 2020 interview. Sources familiar with told Fox News Digital. The sources briefed Fox Digital. The FBI generated FD 1023 form alleging a criminal bribery scheme between then Vice President Joe Biden and a foreign national that involved influence over U.S. policy decisions. The form dated June 30th, 2020 is the FBI's interview with a highly credible confidential source who detailed multiple meetings and conversations he or she had with a top Burisma executive over the course of several years starting 2015. Is there anything else below that for us to see? I mean, that in itself is plenty, ain't it?
Of course it is. It's not rumors of Russian collusion and all the BS. You're seeing a video of a guy saying pay per play. You know what I mean? And you have to fire somebody that's investigating my son, Pat. And the proof is right there, and nothing happens. That's why it's so frustrating for the average person, because it's like, dude, the left runs the show.
Exactly, bro. And again, and it's not about left or right or anything like that. It's about good versus evil. And the evil people that are running everything, these multi-billionaires, almost trillionaires, probably some of them, and you know who some of them are. They took control of the left side of the party and some of the right, because I'm telling you right now, I don't want to divide the country or anything, but if you are a Republican or a conservative or America First, you shouldn't be going with any of this stuff that these people are doing, because you know it's an unfair, unjust system. He is absolutely right, man. It's crazy.
And by the way, the FBI, Pat, sent somebody up that recorded it, right? So a assignment officer and a superior agreed to take FD 1023. The FBI will agree not to even talk to people at times when they're trying to cover up, but they actually, so an assignment officer and a superior actually agreed, yeah, let's go file it. That's permanently filed.
That's permanently filed.
Yeah, that's in the record now.
And I want to show this. This just happened this week. Check this out. This is kind of weird when you see this here. Play this clip if you have it, Rob. disturbing, and the reaction and the answer at the end. I think I showed this to you guys yesterday.
This is amazing.
Watch this. Go ahead.
The opportunities to respond to a former White House stenographer who this month outed you as a anonymous senior administration official who briefed reporters on Air Force Two en route to Ukraine in 2014. He says that you spoke about giving aid to the Ukrainian national gas industry just days after the second son had secretly joined the board of a Ukrainian gas company. He says he considers you part of a corrupt influence peddling conspiracy. He wants to testify to a Delaware grand jury about it. Do you have a response to that? And were you part of a corrupt influence peddling operation involving Biden's family in Ukraine or any other country?
No.
No.
By the way, look at his blink rate. Look at the blink rate.
No.
Any FBI profilers will tell you when the blink rate starts going up is where you have mental stress.
And seeing that, the point that we said yesterday, Pat, that journalism is dead. He says no. Nobody goes into a frenzy and goes, well, wait a minute. Wait, what do you? Nobody says nothing, and they move on to the next story.
Tell you what,
Yep, because the room full of reporters are nothing but Democrats. There's a few Republicans in there, and the only one they call on is Peter Ducey, and the only reason they do that because they have to. There was an African dude. He's a conservative. They haven't called on that dude in 8 months. This was a few months ago, and they're all bought and paid for, those reporters. Now, remember when Donald Trump was in office? How they were asking him questions and hammering it down. All these people are evil, man. That's why they don't follow all that stuff he just said. He just said nope, moved on, and that was it. End of story. My Lord.
The music they played in that video
Was very
you
good.
would just know he's guilty just by the music. Dun, dun,
Those X-Files.
dun.
Yeah.
Well, here's my thoughts on the Trump situation. Was that me? Is that you?
No, that was,
that was Tom. A lot of people use the word witch hunt, right? And I have the definition of that. I'm not saying that is a full-on witch hunt, but it definitely smells witch hunty.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if that's a verb. It definitely smells witch hunty. The definition of a witch hunt is a campaign directed against a person or a group holding unorthodox or unpopular views. We can have a debate of whether his views are unpopular. They're certainly unorthodox. But that's what's going on there. And, it came from when witches who were not doing anything witchcrafty were burned at the mother-sucking stake.
Yep.
For allegedly doing things. So it definitely feels like that. We had the conversation with the two FBI agent whistleblowers the other day, and the term weaponized and politicized was being thrown around like a football left and right.
well, for Biden, I don't think it's the witch hunt. I think it's really the question of which bribe.
Yeah,
There you go,
exactly.
Exactly, Tom. Which bribe? You know what I mean? The $5 million bribe to him, the $5 million bribe to his son, the other $21 million bribe that was spread out through his family. Which bribe? And it's funny how the indictment comes down to Trump the day Marjorie Taylor Greene and the rest of the Republicans saw the thing and said, hey, we're going to go ahead and press charges. We read it and blah, 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 blah. From a credible source, by the way. He was taking bribes. It's obvious. The guy is compromised by you-know-who. Exactly. Which bribe, Tom? Absolutely. Perfect, man. Perfect.
So
Exactly.
we learned with Trump, in Trump's defense, that the Russiagate turned out to be nada. The Ukraine stuff didn't really turn out to be anything.
Hillary.
The impeachment stuff didn't really turn out to be anything. The Stormy Daniels hush money, we'll see what happens with that. Seems very petty. But I think this is just going to be a slow drip. You mentioned Eric Adams. I think you meant Alvin Bragg, the state of New York, that is coming after him. Obviously this. And then we're going to see what happens with the Georgia situation. That's him on tape asking to find 11,000 something votes.
Yeah, that'll be the next indictment, the Georgia thing where he asked about the votes, which we know what happened in 2020. And I would ask the same thing, man, to be honest. This guy talking right here, he's my least favorite. He's kind of like he's kind of like a Democrat, kind of. He pretends like he's in the middle. Then sometimes he's conservative and stuff. Just me personally, he kind of rubs me the wrong way. I mean, he tells the truth sometimes, but some of the things he said, I don't really like. But, I'm agreeing with him on this, though. He's absolutely right about that.
I think this comes into three camps, kind of like what we talked about with Tate. There's the people who are automatically assuming that Tate is guilty without any evidence, and they've basically anchored to that position. There's nothing you could tell them to prove them otherwise. There's the other camp that's like, he's the man, he's the top G, you can't show me anything that he's done, and I have his back. Totally understand that. And then there's the independent free thinkers that are basically like, let's see what happens here. And I think that's exactly what's playing out with the Trump situation. Number one, you have the MAGA base that is fucking pissed. Okay, there's nobody on the right side of things that is happy about this. They completely are on the camp that this is a freaking witch hunt. I don't know if you saw what Mark Levin had to say. What? Dude went off. Steam coming from his ears. People are freaking pissed about this. We talk about the country being divided and divisive. This ain't helping whatsoever. You want to pull up Mark Levin?
Keep what you just had there. No, go
Pretty
back
insane.
to what you had on.
So then you have the Democratic left or the woke left. If you go there, they are ecstatic. They are happy to see this. This is what they wanted. They want more of this. It's like Trump porn, and the fetish is not going down whatsoever. Then you have the people, and I would say I'm in that camp that's like, all right, this seems a little witch hunty. Let's let the facts play out. Let's see what happens here. This is, you put up a poll up there, how much you trust the Justice Department. I'm assuming that there's going to be a lot of people that do not trust what is going on here. And the record is not good for what's going on in Trump world as far as going after the guy and really finding nothing. But you touched on it, Pat. They're going to stop at nothing. And then 18 months from now, if he's not winning the election or even running the election, they're going to be very happy to see this.
See, he makes good points, but he's a fence rider. You know what I mean? He's sitting down with some of the smartest dudes, Patrick Bet-David and Tom and the other guy. Those are some smart guys, but he's always got to be the dude that, yeah, I agree with you, but and he knows what's up. He's not a dummy. He's just got to be that dude that's just questioning stuff. And I agree with him on the three camps, but I think there's a fourth camp, and I'm in that camp. Where you're an American, you don't have to be a conservative or a Republican, just an American that sees the bullshit. You know what I mean? I'm pissed off, and I'm not a Republican. I'm not a MAGA person. Do I want to make America great? Of course. Am I 100% with Donald Trump? No. Again, I'm socially liberal, and I'm fiscally conservative. I don't agree with everything Donald Trump did. I don't like what he did with the jab and how he shut stuff down and how he printed all that money. I'm not with any of that stuff. You know what I mean? He bended to the regime. But there is a fourth category he didn't mention, like I said, being an American that goes by the Constitution and sees a two-tier party and knows right from wrong, period. End of story. You know what I mean? It's just common sense, critical thinking. You know what I mean? That's the camp I'm in. And the truth.
Last point. This is the cover of Time magazine this week, right? I don't know if you could see this. It is a picture of Ron DeSantis.
The sanctimonious. And it's what Ron DeSantis means for America. And it is him peeling an orange. You could touch on a double That's
entendre.
very layered.
He's in Florida, the orange, the Sunshine State. But also, there's a big bad orange man that he's looking to unpeel and take down. So I think that's sort of the media's narrative, is that they would love to see Trump out of this thing and DeSantis in there.
Ron DeSantis, I love you, man. I think you're a great governor of Florida, but you are an ungrateful bastard for that, man. You wouldn't even be in the position you're in if it wasn't for Donald Trump. And this ain't coming from no MAGA person. I've already explained that. You know what I mean? I would never be a fan of somebody, right? Whoever. A guy that I really look, like if I was an Andrew Tate fan, and I really look, because I do look up to Andrew Tate. I like Andrew Tate. And Andrew Tate put me in a position where I'm succeeding and I'm doing a good job in this position. Like say he said, hey man, go watch Jerry Loves Freedom videos, man. Check him out and put me up there and put me in a position where I can win. And then I'm just killing it on YouTube. And then all of a sudden, it's my turn to take a spot that Andrew Tate was at. I would never have no disloyalty to a guy like that to put me on like that.
Everyone knows my husband, Ron DeSantis, is endorsed by President Trump, but he's also an amazing dad. Ron loves playing with the kids.
Build the wall.
He reads stories.
Then Mr. Trump said, "You're fired." I love that part.
He's teaching Madison to talk.
Make America great again.
People say Ron's all Trump, but he is so much more.
Big league. So good.
I just thought you should know.
Ron DeSantis for governor.
This is why I don't trust Ron DeSantis. You know what I mean? And again, unless it's a scheme that they have behind the scenes, him and Donald Trump, whether all of a sudden at the end they're going to say, okay, well, he's going to be my vice president. If that's the case, then I take away all that stuff. But if that's not the case, and he's really trying to run to be the president and trying to overthrow Donald Trump, that's not good, man.
Let's not forget one thing. At the end of the day, this is the first time in this nation's history that a former president has been formally charged by the federal government. The Stormy Daniels hush money situation was New York State, Alvin Bragg, everything with that. He campaigned on that. At the end of the day, I think it's a sad situation. I think at the end of the day, the number one word that keeps popping up, whether you're on the left or on the right, is accountability. What's the accountability here? Trump being held accountable? Is Biden being held accountable? Is accountability is being distributed evenly? I know a lot of people on the right do not think.
And meanwhile, while he's getting these indictments, because he's the first one ever to be indicted, by the state, New York State, and then Florida with the federal indictments. He's going to have one in Georgia. They tried to impeach him a couple times. They did the Mueller report on him. You know what I mean? No apologies, no accountabilities. All these people are slandering him and put him in front of the federal judges and sitting down, and also the lady that sued him for the grape charge back in the 90s or whatever that was. All these things getting thrown back at him. Meanwhile, we have a sitting president that's not only destroying this country, but is breaking the law and is literally committing treason as we speak. In the past, now, and in the present, and in the future. You know what I mean? All this stuff is going on, and then every time they throw the book at him, whoever throws the book at him, they don't get in trouble. All this stuff is going on at one man, and nobody sees it on the left side. My gosh, man. Again, I'm all about being fair and being the truth, and this is just crazy, man, for real.
Adam, don't you feel that it's just one side accountability? Like one side gets away with literally murder. One side it's not just one side, it's Trump.
It does
It's
seem
all
that
Trump, dude. It's literally all Trump. And my question was, bro, when are Americans actually going to do something? All we do is talk, Pat. All the right does is bark. When are the people actually going to get involved? And I'm not talking about January 6th BS where they show up and FBI agents are like, hey, let's run into the Capitol. I'm talking about like in Europe, Pat, when Brazil and all those protests, there was millions and millions of people in the street saying enough is enough. What do you think it's going to take for us? Like, what, Pat, every day it's another story of Biden can do whatever he wants. They can do whatever he wants. Hillary can do Russia collusion and all that. When is going to be the breaking point? Or are we too soft? And going back to what Tate always talks about, the masculine men, they're getting rid of all these guys. Those guys are just soft now. Nobody's going in the streets. It's just, I'm going to post a vlog. I'm going to go on and I'm going to post something on Instagram. When is enough, Adam? What do you think is going to be that breaking point?
I'll let Pat answer this, but I think he already hit on it. Once Trump is no longer in the race, boom, they're done with the guy. But while he's in this race, they do not want to see this guy be the president, period, end of story.
That's why I don't like that dude, Adam. He didn't even answer the question. You know what I mean? He's such a freaking fence rider. I can't stand people like that. And then he was like, when the guy was like, don't you think it's one-sided? Yeah, maybe it's one-sided. You said it was one-sided. But anyways, everything he said was the truth. People are not doing nothing. Now, this is what I meant to say in the other video. This is what everybody needs to do, in my opinion. Peacefully, by the way. Nobody go to work. Everybody stop going to work. Stand up in front of the White House or wherever you got to do. Have some signs out there and completely shut down the economy and say, number one, we want to revote in 2020. You know what I mean? Number two, whatever you stand for, do it. Talk about the Pride Month, all the stuff with the kids. You see the Muslims, what they're doing. People are standing up. Again, do it peacefully, right? And if you're trespassing, leave. And don't do that. Exercise your constitutional rights, by the way. And if some people get arrested, get arrested. But stop going to work and stop being in the rat race in the machine. If you keep being a cog in the machine and doing everything you do, you just watch videos. This is why I make these fucking videos, man. So people can stand up. I don't have a job. I'm not part of this system where, I got to do this and do that. I refuse to do it, man. I'm sitting here every single day out here talking to people, educating people, trying to make these videos, even though YouTube is shutting me down and they don't want to spread. We have got to spread the word and we got to stand up in a nonviolent way. That guy hit the nail right on the head, man. We got to stand up and freaking fight.
They will go after DeSantis, but at a tenth of what they're doing with Trump. Not even close.
Right.
Again, for me, one of the things we were talking about is in Glendale Unified School District. By the way, Glendale, if you're listening to this, we talked about you on Tate's interview, and we have a lot of respect for those parents, man. I mean, I saw one of these clips, which I'll send to you, Rob, here in a minute, and we'll talk about that. The biggest thing is you not being afraid of taking a stand. You not being afraid of taking a stand against what's taking place. There's a part of it where if Glendale Unified School District is sick of it, if they're sick of what's taking place, if they're sick of all the mess that's taking place, you have to go on a strike. It got so bad that the board member shows up and says, hey, what do we need to do to get you guys to stop protesting? You know what the mother said? Now what do you want to do? What about when we first asked you and we talked about this, you didn't listen to us. Now you want us to stop? Now because it's embarrassing what you guys are doing? No. Now we're going to keep talking about this until you stop. And one guy comes in saying, we have, death upon Christian fascists. I don't know if you saw this clip or not, Rob. I showed it to you guys. Yeah. This one guy gets up there and says, death upon Christian fascists. And he's a guy that's holding, if I can find this clip, I think I retweeted it or something. This guy's got very, very good clips about this. Anyways, I'll find it here in a minute. We'll go through it. But people have to, when you do something like this, you're eventually going to wake people up, and they're eventually going to say, I am not going to tolerate this. This is Glendale right now. If you look at this, look at the fights. If you can click on it so they can hear the noise, look what the guy says. Turn on the audio. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, wow.
Dude, look at that.
It's not giving you audio?
Because, Pat, that's Antifa too, Pat.
Yeah.
Antifa was there getting their asses whooped.
PBD, this is where you grew up. Yes?
Listen, if there's one thing about Armenians, if you do anything to their mothers and their kids, it's game over.
Yep.
This is a very different kind of a culture. This is the types of people you want to have drinks with, you want to have conversation with, you want to spend time with, but God forbid you do anything to their kids. And they're starting to see it right now. It's common sense, by the way. Don't mess with my kids. One of the mothers asked the question, I have to find these clips to show it to you. One of the mothers asked the question and says, why are we showing, why do we have to teach a 4-year-old about what a transgender is? Why do we have to teach a 4-year-old? A 4-year-old. What does a 4-year-old have to learn about being a transgender? Nothing.
Zero.
A 4-year-old has nothing to do to learn about what a transgender is.
It's indoctrination. It's indoctrination, not education. That's why they do it. We all know that. And you saw those people standing out there. Now, I don't condone the violence and stuff, and hopefully YouTube doesn't take my video down because all those people were fighting in the video because they don't like stuff like that. But you guys know why they're doing it. I had a friend of mine call me telling me, oh, yeah, I hate Trump, this and the third. I really don't like Biden. And guess what happened? When I went to school, they had a switch sex day where the girls dress like boys and the girls dress like boys, or boys dress like girls, or whatever. They switched it. He goes, yeah, I was so mad and blah, blah. I said, oh, you took your kids out of school? Oh, nah, but... Exactly. Now, again, guys, I know it's a difficult thing to take your kids out of school, but why would you have your kids in school? You know what I mean? This is why people have to, this is what they do on purpose. They keep you in a loop where you don't save any money. You don't have any silver or gold or Bitcoin or anything like that. You can't live off your savings. You have to stay in the system. You have to keep your kids in the school. Why? Because you have to go to work and make money. If you had savings up and you had 3, 4, 5, 6 years of worth of savings up, you could take your kids out of school and homeschool them and then stand up and get out of the system. But they won't let you because people don't know about what the real money is and printing and inflation and all that. It is all a fucking setup, man.
But they're doing these kinds of things. One Armenian guy was standing across standing across this guy, and this other guy was saying, death upon Christian fascists. And the guy turns around and says, really? He says, you want to burn the American flag? He says, yes. He says, you want to burn the American flag? Do you have that clip? Did I send it to you or not?
I
wish
don't
I could show
that. That was incredible.
He says, you want to burn the American flag? He says, why is it such a big deal if we burn the LGBT, the pride flag, but not a big deal if you burn the American flag? Why is that okay? And anyways, there was a back and forth with them. But my point to you is, you got to stand up for your values and principles, especially at a point like this when insanity is taking place.
Absolutely, Patrick. You got to stand up. You know what I mean? And people are just sitting there in their little holes and saying, oh, I'm just going to, watch it on TV and just mind my own business. It's going to come knocking at your door, okay? Whether you like it or not. People are sitting there just trying to, I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to be the ostrich and put my head in the sand and act like it's not happening. You can't do that. You got to stand up for your country. You got to stand up for your legacy and your family and your rights and your freedom and this Constitution. People die for this shit, man.
And the biggest thing about that is, and this is something that I've learned repeatedly being here at Valuetainment, why is it that people who are not born here, not from America, that came here, that earned the right to be here, are freaking obsessed with America? Why? Because they know what it's like the rest of the world. They know what it's like not to have a voice, not to have your freedoms, to be locked up in jail for bullshit, to not to have food on the plate, not to have an opportunity, to not have money. And they come here and they deeply, with gratitude and appreciation, love what America's about. Then you have these yahoos that are born in America and they just play the fucking victim role, and all they do is want to hate on America. This is why when Sebastian Gorka was here, we just made a call, he said it comes down to two things, two camps: the people that love America and the people that hate America, want to destroy America. And it's sad to say, but that's becoming more and more true every single freaking day.
Defense Rider was right on this one. He was on our side on this one. I'll give him that. People think if you have the American flag, if you're a black man, you're a sellout, you're an Uncle Tom. If you're white, you're a racist. They care more about the LGBTQ flag than the American flag, our country's flag. And the reason why people from overseas are obsessed with America, because like you said, they understand how it is to live in another country and come here to America. They understand it. Why do you think we got so many Mexicans and all these other people coming in from the Mexican border? All these different people. You don't see all these other countries like us going to other. We're not trying to get into Mexico. America is the greatest country in the world. We are ran by some idiots and some evil people right now. But like he said, it's either you love America or you hate America. And to me, it all comes down to good and evil. If you hate America, that means you hate God. If you love America, America's a God-fearing country. It's good versus evil. It's as simple as that. And if you don't like this country, and I told my boy this the other day when I was texting him and stuff, he was like, oh, because he's a black dude. Oh, man, this country ain't for us. They don't like us. I said, then get the hell out. Leave. He got on me. Why are you talking to me like that? Well, you're the victim. I can't stand this, man. If you don't like America, get the hell out.
I found the clip. Can you play this clip? Watch this guy here, what he said.
This is it.
Okay, make it bigger, and let's get the audio, Rob, if we can. Tell me the audio works on this one. Okay, go for it.
I like his
Death to America. Okay, pause right there. I agree to death to America, but I also agree death to Christian fascists.
Yeah.
This is a white guy saying death to Christian fascists. Okay, keep playing it.
You agree? I agree about death to America. I'll burn the flag.
You will burn this flag? You try.
You try.
Try to burn this flag. That's a hate crime.
I've got to pace myself.
Listen, my brother, you are saying they burn the flag?
No, I'm not wrapped up.
Listen, why is it okay, not okay to burn the LGBTQ flag, but it's okay for you to burn this flag? If you don't like this flag, get out of this country.
That's amazing. Let's go, baby. You can carry it. That's your right to carry it.
This guy believes what he's saying, by the way.
I don't like it, but you can carry it.
By the way, pause. Listen, to the average person, tell me who you want on your side. Tell me who you want to be friends with. Tell me who you want as a citizen. Tell me who's a net positive to your country. Tell me who's more grateful. Tell me who's more thankful for your country. Tell me who's better for you. Tell me who should we should make more into a hero. Who should we protect more? This clown or the other guy that's trying to defend his kids? Do we not value great parents, great fathers, great men, great leaders that are willing to stand up for this incredible country? Do we value that? Then turn that man into a hero.
Preach, Patrick. See, this is what I love about everybody having cell phones and stuff like that, and everybody having their own, channels and being independent journalists, is because you can get guys like that. You know what I mean? That guy's a hero. The other guy in the red, he's an absolute lunatic. The lamestream media when they did that narrative of that video, they completely spin it like the people that were trying to protect their children were the bad people. You're bad because you don't want your children to be indoctrinated into LGBTQ stuff, sex stuff, gay stuff, sex changes and stuff like that. Let me tell you something. I said this in another video. We are headed towards a civil war, not just because we're at odds and the country's split and diverse and divided and stuff like that. That's part of it. But the other part, again, is people are boiling over and building up. I tell people this all the time. If you're in a relationship as a wife, as a kid, parents, whatever, you have got to communicate, right? You got to talk it out and say your grievances and this, that, and the third. If not, things are going to boil over and get crazy. If you hold stuff in, then that's when the big fights come out. And most of the people that are on the right side, or when I mean the right side, I mean the right side of history and God and the country, they're just holding it in. There's only a few people that's standing up. You see what the lefties are doing? Because they got the backing of the cabal. They can go out there and do and say whatever the hell they want. Guys, did you see that clip? It was in London where the people that were trying to stop the oil were trying to stop people from driving. Look at this video. Take a look.
CTO plus 61 active will get you to black car. Get off the van! Get off the van! It's off my truck! Yeah, we're in London. Your hand behind your back. Absolutely disgusting, Brian.
A 100 million people are starving, I can understand starving in the Horn of Africa. Come on. You bring it. You fucking scumbag, ain't you? You ain't got brakes, how much money you go on, over you. Sorry, man. Sorry. Move, brother. Move. Come on, move. Come on, car. Exactly, so why don't you just come to the side? Somebody's going to go and bring it on. It's not okay, man. Come on, I can understand what you're saying about it. We need to go to work, man. People are dying. People are dying. People are dying. Children.
Why don't you fill this man and explain why you can get to work?
That's insane, okay? That is insane. And again, the people that are holding up traffic in a public road, by the way, they get to go whatever the hell they want. They can just go wherever they want. And the people that are trying to stop them, now I'm not saying he was right to put his hands on them and all that, but what is he supposed to do? These people got to go to work. You know what I mean? Again, it is boiling over and they doing it on purpose. That's why you got to go out there and talk to your politicians, talk to people, go out there and protest peacefully and stop going to work and say, you know what? We're not doing this. We're going to shut this economy down. We're going to shut this country down in a nonviolent way until we get this fucking shit straight. Period.
I am so proud, and maybe proud is one word, but I want to add another one. I am so proud and honored to have half of my blood be Armenian, to see the representation of these incredible fathers and mothers that are brave to stand up to this pathetic hypocrisy, this bullshit woke agenda that has convinced so many people to think this is noble and we ought to sit there and be tolerant about it. I respect you for fighting. To every single Armenian parent, to every single Armenian individual that you got a sibling, a brother, a sister, an aunt, an uncle. There was a 90-year-old grandmother standing there talking to one of these clowns in a very calm way. Like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. I got so much respect for you guys. Keep doing what you're doing.
Exactly, Patrick. You should be proud. It's mostly the foreigners that come over here to America that's going, what the hell is going on? I came over here to be in a free country and this bullshit's going on, and they're standing up. The regular Americans, oh, you know, we'll just do it because they don't want to be canceled. They don't want to lose their job. They don't want to feel like they're, hurting someone's feelings. Because it's about everybody's feelings. Fuck your feelings. It's about facts and what's really going on. We got to stop being nice to these people, man. Again, not violent, but we got to stand up against this bullshit.
You know how they say that we're living in a clown world. Up is down, left is right. This is just a case example. Exhibit A, you have an American, born and raised in America, hates America, wants to burn the USA flag.
Yep.
You have an immigrant, an Armenian immigrant, speaking in a thick accent, defending the flag.
Holding
One
it.
is trying to burn the American flag. One is basically saying, do not touch this fucking flag.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to touch your LGBT woke
Rainbow flag.
Do your thing, unicorn.
Yep.
Don't touch this flag. And you could tell the in his voice, he meant it.
Of course.
He would die
Yep.
for his beliefs because he knows what it's like on the other side of the country, other side of the world.
Yep.
It's really pathetic. It's a clown fucking world.
It sure is. If this would have happened 10 years ago, it wouldn't. This would be, people would be looking at these people like they're crazy. You know what I mean? But again, when you cook us slowly in a pot, and then they let little slide. That's why you can't let anything slide. If you let one little thing slide, then another thing, then another, they just eat away at your freedoms. They eat away at your mental capacity of thinking something that is bad is good. And they just do it little by little by little. And guess what? Now they got the pot all the way turned up. And that's when people are going to go crazy.
It really is.
And if anybody doesn't understand what's going on Twitter here and having the ability to see unedited videos so you can see what is being said, when is being said, this is not getting edited and put on mainstream media. This is not going on the news. On the news, they portray it as a bunch of freak parents that are upset, that are against progressive values and the rights of other people. Baloney. What these people are is upset about what you're trying to teach their kids. And thanks to Twitter, you've got all sorts of these wonderful accounts that I was looking at yesterday, Pat, it was not cut. They're just saying, look at what this person said. Look at what this person said. You're able to see the truth of what's going on there, including, this woke woman who actually stood and was speaking to the school board, and she mentioned the genocide and denied it. So you had a genocide denier on top of this, hitting to the core of something that happened to the Armenian community that we need if we've got St. Patrick's Day, if we've got Martin Luther King Day, we need a day on the American calendar to recognize what happened with the Armenian genocide. And you got this woman with and I'm going to call her trans because she had the balls to stand there and make a comment and invoke a comment about the genocide while she's making a comment. So she's clearly poking and triggering these parents that are outside. And I was thankful that I could see a 360-degree view of all these folks to see really what was happening there, because this is not the coverage you were getting on the media.
Preach, Tom. Cut my lighter out. Am I at church? I know it's a Sunday today, but my goodness. Absolutely. Can you imagine? And this was scary for me because I'm 48 years old. I grew up with the ABCs, the NBCs, the CBS. I grew up in a world with no internet. Can you imagine if this stuff was going on with no social media and all you heard was the accounts from the lamestream media? Can you imagine that? Now, there are some people that don't have Twitter accounts, that don't watch YouTube. There's some older people that just watch this stuff. And the people that do watch some TikToks or social medias and stuff like that, they're watching everything from the left side. They're not watching the other side. When you watch things from the left side, you already know they're going to spin it. My Lord, man. My Lord.
No, this is, again, respect to you guys for what you're doing, to every single Armenian. And by the way, this isn't just Armenian. I know a lot of Hispanics. They don't stand up for this. I know our company, half of it is Hispanic. And I'm talking every kind of Hispanic. They don't stand up for this stuff. They do not stand up for this stuff, okay? This is not the game they play. This is not what they want to do. They have strong values and principles. They don't support decisions like this. By the way, we're talking about Trump. We're talking about Biden. I posted a poll on Twitter. Can you go to my Twitter account if you could? Just right there, go to my Twitter account and refresh it so all this stuff can be... No, go back to... Yeah, just refresh it from the top. There you go. And then go to the poll and zoom in a little bit. I asked the following question. How much do you trust the current justice system in America? Okay. The answers are, pick one of them, by the way. Just vote on one of them yourself, Rob. Look at that.
Zero.
Okay, look at that right there. 3,574 people voted 44 minutes ago. 61.3% said zero. 27.3% said minimal. Wow. That means 89% said minimal to zero. 89% said minimal to zero. 9.3% said somewhat. 2.1% said fully. I can guarantee you the fully are 100% vaccinated and they have all their
and they wear masks in the car.
They're 100%. They were wearing masks when they put the fully one right there, by the way. So that just kind of tells you the state of the current economy. Anyways, we can go to the next topic. I'll finish it up with you here.
That's astonishing, man. My Lord. But I will say this, in fairness, most people that watch Patrick Bet David are smart people. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, you got some idiots that'll watch your stuff, even me. You know what I mean? And like you said, double masked face. They got a freaking face shield on their face and all this other stuff. Those are the ones that do that, that voted that way. But most of them are hardworking, God-fearing American people that love their freedom and their basic rights and their children and the smart people. So with that being said, that's crazy. You know what I mean? So again, if that's the case, why are we not standing up? We need to. I'll get into that. I'm going to finish this video up.
You were going to say something?
Well, I mean, it's look, I like just peel this back a little bit. I have conversations with people on all political sides of the aisle, okay? And what I like having conversations with is people that are not Trump fans, not MAGA world, people that voted for Biden and say, what do you think about what's going on here? What do you think about this situation? What do you think about what's happening with Trump? What do you think about what's happening with the LGBT woke? The problem that I have is we're so polarized. It's like, if you voted for Biden, you must be a gay liberal Democrat, obviously, right? It's like, if you voted for Trump, you must have been there storming the Capitol on January 6th. It's a broad spectrum. And what I like understanding is when people are like, yeah, I voted for Biden, but I don't really like what's going on here on the left here. It's not, I've got kids at school. I don't like this shit. And I'm not a Trump supporter, but I don't support this. And it's a very nuanced debate here. Same with this. It's like, I know plenty of Democrat people. They're not woke Antifa people. Just like I know plenty of, DeSantis type people who aren't on the MAGA camp. It's a very nuanced debate here. But when everybody across the aisle, everyone across the spectrum politically is seeing something like this and they're like, this is ridiculous. This is freaking ridiculous. That's when you understand that it's really a situation that is just completely
all right, let's go to the next story.
Man, I absolutely love that video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry this video was so long, but I had to get this out to you guys. But what I think we should do, honestly, besides everything I just said, I think we need to build some kind of a coalition and help each other financially for the people. I'm talking about the people that are not working and just stand up and protest or whatever the thing is. I'm not smart enough to come up with that, but I'll pool our resources together and say, you know what, we're going to make a stand non-violently and we are going to take our country back, period, end of story. You have so many illegal immigrants coming into this country, rushing in by the thousands every single day. Did you see that story in New York City where they're offering people, the sanctuary cities, by the way, they're offering New York City residents $125 to house illegal immigrants in their house a day? Where's that money coming from? Because you didn't give it to the homeless people that live in America or the veterans. You have a big homeless problem. And the problem is these Democratic ran cities, these left woke cities got what? The most crime, which is they have less guns, they have less gun rights and less rights. They have the most crime, the most homeless and everything else. And these countries are ran like, these cities and states are ran like, you know what? Most of the country is red, right? But you have these little small pockets of blue all over the country, and that's what we need to stop. We need to stop letting the small, because they're concentrated in the cities and apartments and stuff like that, not in the rural areas. They're running our country. The left and the people that are above the left and some of the right are running this country into the ground. Not only are we morally bankrupt, but we're fiscally bankrupt. So we need to pool our resources together and help each other. Stop hiding behind the camera and hiding your face about your gold and silver. We need to all come together, and somebody needs to stand up and go, you know what? We got to end this stuff, man. And that's why I'm trying to make these videos. Hopefully I'll come up, some leader will pop out. Not just me, just everybody. And if you want to support this, please, guys, hit the like button, share this video, and comment. And I really appreciate you guys watching. But we got to do something, ladies and gentlemen. I never thought I'd be this patriotic about my country. I love my country, but you don't realize how much you love until somebody messes with it. You can have a sister that you be arguing with and going off on, and you guys can be at it. But if somebody comes in there and messes with your sister, what are you gonna do? Lady Liberty, unfortunately, she's in New York. Our mother, this country, is very sacred and dear to my heart, man. It really is, and I hope it is for you guys too. And stand up, man. Stand up for your rights, your family, your legacy, your children, and more importantly, God. And you got to put God first. And if you put God first and you read the Bible and you read the Constitution, you absolutely know that this stuff is wrong. And when it's wrong, you got to stand up for what's right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave me a comment in the comment section below. I love each and every one of you. I hope to God that you guys just don't click off this video and just go on to the next one. We actually do something about this stuff, guys. You know, even if you got to make your own videos and hide your face or whatever you got to do, you got to make your voice heard, not just in the comment section, but to your family, your loved ones, and your brothers and sisters here in this country. God bless you and your family. God bless this country. God bless this country, man. Thank you so much for watching. I love each and every one of you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love.